Final score, Oakland 80, Kentucky 76. Wildcats closed as 13.5-point favorites in a 3-14 game in the Midwest region. And then they got Jack Gohlke, the 6'3" senior, came off the bench, took 23s, made 10 of them, finished with 32 points. Just an all-time great, memorable NCAA tournament performance on this big stage that college basketball provides, in a game with Rob Dillingham, Reed Shepherd, other future NBA players. Jack Gohlke was the star. Deadleg, as you know, the tournament always delivers. These stories can and do come from anywhere. At what point tonight did you know we'd be leading this podcast with the GOAT, Jack Gohlke?
I think after the 7th three-pointer. I mean, just unbelievable. Listen, this is going to be quite a podcast here. GP's got to be back on set for Sports Network in less than 30 minutes. We're going to get into Kentucky, Calipari, Oakland, and all that and start there. Wherever we finish, but let's just dive right in here. Do you want to start on Oakland winning or Kentucky losing in the Cal fallout? You let me know. How do you want to go here?
I feel like we should celebrate the winner first and start with Oakland. It really is an incredible story. You and I both had fun sort of experiencing the Oakland automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. I got to tell a Greg Kampe story. You got to tell a Greg Kampe story. But I think we'd both be lying if we thought we'd be talking about Greg Kampe and his program again tonight.
I agree. This was just as someone who just loves the tournament and I embrace chaos. I don't care if my bracket picks are right. Don't give a damn. If they are, cool. But if not, I want to have the most interesting stuff to talk about that enhances the experience of living in this tournament. And Oakland stunning Kentucky is that. I love how every year, and I said this on HQ, but I'm going to repeat myself here on the pod, and to everyone joining, hello, we are cruising right now. We appreciate all of you doing this as these games wind down here on Thursday night. We have this kind of upset almost every single year, and by that I mean, Parrish, did you see really anyone of note giving any true chance of Oakland to win the game outright? Did you see that anywhere? Because this one, like the Morehead State Illinois one, which went Illinois' way, I saw none of it. I saw no better watch out for Oakland. They're a good team, but no one had this on the board. Would you agree?
I would agree that nobody had this on the board. I will say, like, we did a show earlier tonight just before Kentucky and Oakland was about to start, and when I was asked for, and GP, your thoughts on this game, I said, listen, Kentucky at its best is as good, perhaps better than anybody else. They at least can compete with anybody else in the country. But the problem for Kentucky is that they're not always at their best. They're wildly inconsistent. And that inconsistency is what gives you, if you're Greg Kampe, hope that maybe you could pull off something special. Paraphrasing myself, but I at least left open the possibility that Oakland could, make this interesting, because there's a reason why Kentucky was a 9-loss team and is now a 10-loss team. And it's not because when they're at their best, they're still not good enough. When they're at their best, they're unbelievable. They're just not at their best very often.
The defense let them down tonight. It wasn't all that. A lot of this was obviously Oakland shot making, and the fact that, that we got a 24-year-old white dude named Gohlke who has the game of his life. Nada, get that quick clip audio ready, because I'm going to cue you up in about 20 seconds here. No one knew who this guy was. I didn't know who this guy was, and I just wrote a feature on Kampe a week ago. He comes off the bench, and he specializes in three-point shots. He goes for 32 points and etches his name into the legacy and immortality of this great event. Afterward, he got asked about the win and being an underdog, and here is what he told reporters.
Yeah, I've always had an interesting mindset about that. Obviously we come in, we're the underdog by all measures, but you just gotta, as a player, you can't think that way. You got to go out there and you got to think that you have the same talent level as them. I know they have draft picks, and I know I'm not going to the NBA, but I know on any given night I can compete with those type of guys, and our team can compete with those type of guys. And that's why I was so confident going into it, and that's why I say we're not a Cinderella, because when we play our A game, we can be the best team on the floor.
Exactly.
Jack Gohlke, this is your life. And all day long, I've been texting with my brothers about the tournament. We do this every year. It enhances the experience for me. Shouts to all of them. And one of my brothers, he kind of said it plainly, but it kind of hits it on the point with why this is so good. He said, college basketball is amazing because Kentucky has pros and they can't just say, F this, I'm taking over, or even stop a 3-point shooter. Kind of what Gohlke was saying there. And Jay Wright had something about this as well in the postgame analysis, where this tournament, you get yourself caught in a game like this, it just does not matter if you've got 5 future NBA players on the floor. Sometimes you are going to get beat, and some of that is on Calipari. We will get to that. I am here, and I'm so happy that you opted to want to start on Oakland and Greg Kampe, because this is Cinderella at its best. I wrote a column on Calipari that just posted right before we went up. We'll try and put that in the episode description, anyone listening here on Friday morning. But this is my lead exactly. Before I got to Cal, I had to start it like this. 14th seeded Oakland pulling up to Pittsburgh to punk blue-blooded 3rd seeded Kentucky and walking out with an all-time 80-76 upset behind 32 points on 10 3-pointers from a 24-year-old bench player named Gohlke, who began his career at Division II Hillsdale College, is why the NCAA tournament is the greatest sporting event in American history. You can't get this anywhere else, man. We were all shocked by this. The scene was great. The arena was on fire. Kentucky, yeah, it had a weak defense, but you thought they would have enough offensive firepower, and Gohlke, time and time again, just out of nowhere, becoming an overnight sensation. And who knows what Friday's going to bring. But I do know this, for the next 48 hours, Greg Kampe, Jack Gohlke, and that program are going to be at the forefront of the American sports discussion, as they should be, because that's what this tournament can provide. And I loved everything about what I saw in that game tonight, because it wasn't just that they won. It was a competitive game. It was a watchable game. Kentucky was out of sorts a little bit, but it was close. And Oakland straight up won. They outplayed them for 40 minutes. They had all the big shots. Kentucky was weirdly out of sync a lot. If not for Antonio Reeves, this would have been a 12-point Kentucky win. Great stuff, a great story. And Greg Kampe, you do deserve this. You deserve this. 40 years, one school, one man, from Division I to Division II. You get your flowers here. Incredible stuff, man. Just if you tell me we get a better story by the end of Sunday night than this, then I'm going to tell you it is going to be beyond imagination, because this right here, 14-3 like this, is really cool stuff. We will remember this game. I don't care what happens, Parrish. I don't care what happens tomorrow or 2 days from now in Oakland. They could win again, or they could lose by 40. We will remember Jack Gohlke in Oakland doing this to Kentucky, maybe because of how it may affect Calipari's career. We'll remember it 20 years from now. This goes into the all-time March Madness sizzle reel for what we saw in Pittsburgh Thursday night.
No, it's wild. 6 hours ago, most people, I won't even say most college basketball fans, because that's obviously true. You ready for this? 6 hours ago, most people who work in college basketball didn't know who Jack Gohlke was.
That's
like,
right.
I could walk down to the bullpen right now, and it is filled with people who talk on television about college basketball. And if I would have walked in today at 4 o'clock and been like, trivia time, Jack Gohlke, nobody knows. Literally nobody.
No.
Nobody. And now you'll never forget him. And that is something that, I don't know if you can only get it in college basketball, but buddy, this is the best place to get stuff like this. And Jack Gohlke's press conference, that clip you played, it summarizes what makes this special. The lead to your column does the same thing. I love the self-awareness. Like, sometimes you'll see guys on mid-major teams or low-major teams, and they'll win on this big stage, and they'll be like, nobody believed in us and all that nonsense. And the reason nobody believed in you because you weren't supposed to win the game. Like, here's Jack Gohlke saying, listen, I know I'm not going to the NBA, and I know they are, but like, that didn't matter in this setting. And so often in that setting, the NCAA tournament, that kind of stuff doesn't matter. And of course, the problem for Kentucky is it doesn't matter often. And Kentucky's been on the wrong side of that too often.